Adam was a man of great courage and strength, his kingdom stretching from the east to the west. When he would set out in the morning to tour his lands, by evening, he would not even be able to see half of his territory. It was as though wealth was a servant in his home. The only misfortune in his life was that he had no family of his own. He had lost his parents when he was just entering adolescence in a car accident. After their death, he was left alone with no one but his loyal servants. He was lonely, isolated, and sad. If anyone in the house cared for him, it was his faithful servant, Jilani, who had been serving his family for generations. Once, in a nearby town, Adam attended the wedding of a friend. There, he met a woman so beautiful that he was at a loss for words to describe her beauty. Does such beauty even exist in this world? He thought as he looked at her. His heart yearned to speak to her. He passed by her intentionally, pretending to accidentally bump into her. "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see you and bumped into you," he said. "It's okay," Adana replied with a smile. Adam, who was as handsome as ever, could not take his eyes off her. Adana, who had come to her friend's wedding, couldn't help but laugh at the stranger's clumsy attempt to bump into her. And just like that, she became etched in his heart and mind. Coincidentally, a few days later, Adam had to visit the same friend's house. There, he saw Adana again. They exchanged smiles and spoke to each other. That smile became permanently engraved in their hearts. They exchanged phone numbers, and their conversation moved from love to marriage. Adam proposed to Adana, and she shyly smiled and said yes. Adam went to his mansion and told all his servants that next week, the desolation of the mansion would be replaced by spring, and the entire mansion would be filled with celebration. Everyone got busy with the wedding preparations. Finally, the day arrived. Adana came as the bride, and Adam came as the groom. That night was filled with joy, but for someone, it was also a night of tears, jealousy, and resentment. When Adam went to his wife's room that night, he saw a horrifying scene. "My God, what am I seeing? How can this be happening to me?" he thought. He saw Adana lying face down on the bed, with blood oozing from her entire body, as though someone had made small cuts all over her with a knife. Adam rushed to hold Adana, but she had already left this world. Once again, Adam was left alone in this crowded world. He had loved Adana immensely, but now she was no longer in his life. Slowly, time passed, and he began to heal from Adana's loss. Some of his friends insisted that he go on a trip to the mountains for a change of scenery. There, he met Ashanti, who was playing the guitar. Adam had gone out for a walk from his camp. In the deep silence of the evening, he heard the soulful sound of a guitar. The guitar's melody was so full of pain that Adam felt as though someone was playing his own sorrow on the strings. He couldn't help himself and walked towards the sound. He saw a girl with golden hair, lost in playing the guitar. He was captivated by her and couldn't take his eyes off her. It felt as though the universe consisted of only three things: him, the guitar, and the beautiful girl with golden hair playing it. Suddenly, the girl noticed him and ran away with her guitar. Adam smiled and continued on his way. The next day, Adam and Ashanti met at a hotel. Ashanti had also come to the beautiful valleys with some friends for a trip. Coincidentally, Adam and Ashanti were from the same city and region. Their meeting turned into liking, and that liking began to turn into love. Adam's old wounds began to heal, and new joys began to color his life. By the end of their trip, the two had become so familiar with each other that it seemed as though they had known each other for years. Adam was afraid that Ashanti might not stay with him if she knew about his past and Adana's mysterious death. So Adam told her everything about Adana. "Oh, Adam, I don't care about your past. I want you in the present in every way," Ashanti said. Adam decided to make her a part of his life. And soon, Ashanti became Adam's bride. On the night of the wedding, Adam was a little nervous and scared, but Ashanti was completely calm. Adam didn't leave Ashanti's side for a moment. Suddenly, there was a commotion outside, and Adam had to go out. He left Ashanti in the care of his most loyal servant, Jilani, and went outside. A little later, when he returned, Jilani met him outside Ashanti's room. She said, "Sir, Madam wanted to rest a little, so I came out." Adam nodded and went to the room. But as soon as he opened the door, a wave of blood stench hit him, mixed with the fragrance of flowers. He rushed inside and saw Ashanti lying on the bed, with drops of blood dripping from her body. Shiver ran through Adam's body, and he ran to her. But alas, Ashanti was already dead. Adam couldn't help but remember Adana. He couldn't understand what was happening and why it was happening. Adam was driven to madness by grief. Once again, spring in his life was cut short. He became a shadow of his former self, and his life was plunged into darkness. Adam became convinced that he was cursed and unworthy of anyone's company. He resolved never to hope for a life with anyone again. Adam confined his life to himself. He didn't meet anyone, nor did he care about any of his work or properties. At that time, if anyone sympathized with him, it was his servant Jilani. She took care of her master as though she were comforting him. Adam was constantly tormented by the thought that after Adana, he shouldn't have risked Ashanti's life. The news spread throughout the region that Adam was cursed, and that marrying him was like inviting death. People began to avoid Adam, and rumors about his cursed nature spread. Adjacent to Adam's estate was the estate of a landlord named Abua. The stories of Adam's cursed nature reached his daughter, Farah. She was surprised that a human being created by God could be cursed. Farah was an intelligent and educated girl. She didn't believe in such superstitions. She wanted to meet Adam. Disguised as a beggar woman, she went to Adam's mansion and requested to meet the owner. When Adam found out that a beggar woman wanted to meet him, he said, "She must have come to see my misfortune. I have no interest in meeting anyone." But Farah insisted on meeting him. Jilani requested Adam to meet the beggar woman. Adam reluctantly agreed. When Farah saw Adam's beauty and grace, she was deeply impressed, but she was saddened by the terrible rumors surrounding such a handsome man. She thought about Adam for several days. Then, she suddenly expressed her desire to marry Adam to her father. Abua firmly rejected the idea, saying he couldn't let his only daughter go to her death. But Farah refused to accept this, saying that life and death are in God's hands, not in the hands of any human. She decided to talk to Adam herself about marriage. She went to Adam's mansion, but this time, not as a beggar woman, but as a beautiful maiden. However, Adam had no interest in her. "Look, Mr. Adam, I want to marry you, and I've come to discuss this with you," Farah said. "Adam, but I cannot marry you because I am a cursed man, and I don't want anyone's life to be at risk because of me." Adam replied firmly. Farah tried every way to convince Adam, but he refused. Farah continued her efforts, and finally, she managed to persuade him. Everyone in the town who heard that Farah and Adam were getting married looked at Farah with pity, as though she was going to her death rather than her wedding. People talked about her, sympathized with her, and told her stories of Adam's cursed nature. But she laughed it off. She was not only marrying Adam out of love, but also wanted to show people that Adam was not cursed, and that their opinions and thoughts were merely assumptions. She believed that something must have happened to Adam's two wives, which people had turned into a curse on Adam. Finally, the wedding day arrived. Farah dressed up and became Adam's bride. Adam was filled with fear. He was neither happy nor excited. He was only terrified that a good girl like Farah would fall victim to his cursed nature. When Farah arrived as the bride, the person who welcomed her the most warmly was Jilani. She was at her service, attending to her every need. Farah was very cautious, observing everything and everyone. Deep down, she had some apprehensions, but her faith was strong and her conviction was firm. She was alone in the room when Jilani came in and said, "Madam, your arrival will bring life to this mansion, and its desolation will end." Farah smiled and nodded. Jilani handed her a glass of milk, saying she should drink it and that she would call Adam. Farah observed Jilani carefully and for the time being did not touch the milk. Adam, filled with fear, entered the room, expecting to see another horrifying scene like before. But he saw Farah sitting there, safe and sound, smiling. The first day of the wedding passed, and nothing happened to Farah. The next night, Jilani brought milk for Farah again, but Farah forgot to drink it. The next morning, when Jilani came to the room, she insisted, "Madam, I bring this milk for you with so much love and effort. Please drink it." Farah felt a little embarrassed and, seeing her sincerity, was about to take the glass when Adam took it and said, "I'll drink the milk instead of Farah." As soon as he brought the glass to his lips, Jilani's face turned pale. She quickly knocked the glass out of his hand. "No, sir, this milk is not good for you. I'll bring another glass for you," she said. Adam was confused and worried, but Farah had already understood a lot. She grabbed Jilani by the neck and demanded, "Tell the truth. What was in that milk?" Adam was stunned, watching the scene unfold. Suddenly, memories began to flood his mind. Adana and Ashanti being lovingly served milk by Jilani, and then both dying in the same manner. "Why? Jilani, why? Why did you do this? Why did you turn my life into hell?" Adam cried. Jilani fell to her knees, clasping her hands. "Sir, I love you deeply. I am in love with you. I couldn't bear the presence of anyone else in your life. Please forgive me," she pleaded. Adam's heart sank into an abyss. He had considered Jilani his loyal servant, but she turned out to be a snake in the grass, the murderer of his happiness. He threw Jilani out of the mansion and started a new life with Farah.